Hello everyone, my name is Beaualexander and I'm so glad that you're here. It's been quite a busy week. We actually just experienced our second major snowfall of the season here in my area and I have been enjoying every second of it from indoors. For this weekend's outing, I decided to venture out to a really cool store nearby. They have about 30 dealers with extremely curated booths that showcase a mix of antiques, vintage items, and some newer items too. It's been quite a few months since I've had the opportunity to visit this particular store, and I've yet to bring you all along for the adventure. So I thought it'd be fun to see what's new, see what unique items they have out on display, and of course, you know me, I couldn't resist scoring a couple of new finds along the way, so definitely stick around to see what I bought. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe down below. Leave me a comment, chat with me, and give this video a thumbs up and a like to let me know that you're enjoying my channel and enjoying my content. And don't forget to follow me over on Instagram at beautalksnow. I post pretty frequently, and this is where you'll find more of my home decor and styling inspiration. Now, without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, you all know me. My eyes are dead set on finding natural stone objects, and this horsehead figurine really had me going. Before picking it up, I thought it was made of onyx. It had such a nice polish to it, and if you incorporate color into your design, a piece like this would be so aesthetically pleasing. But it turned out to be some sort of resin made to imitate the look of stone, though it was still quite reasonable at only $29. Now, I have a bust addiction, but believe it or not, I already have the same exact piece in my collection. It's a bust of Artemis or Diana, and though it was quite inexpensive here at only $59, I can say I paid a fourth of that on OfferUp. My variation, which I scored back in early September, was only $15, so keep your eyes peeled on the secondhand apps like Facebook Marketplace and OfferUp for these unique finds. I just picked up 2 of these silver baskets in last weekend's thrift outing, and I was so surprised to see a scalloped variation here. They were using it as a display and it was heavily tarnished, which again, for some adds to the overall charm. Personally, I'm quick to restore items like this to their original state as soon as I get home. This piece, like the others I sourced, is a true mid-century styled find and so beautifully crafted. I had to share this wooden jack because I actually purchased one a few months ago when I came to source items for my thrift store challenge with my good friend Lisbeth Sanson. Personally, I love the rustic look of this piece. It's handmade of reclaimed wood by a local artisan, but I know they sell more modern takes on Overstock.com for around double the price. Next up is this Helping Hands concrete dish. Now, it reminded me of a similarly fashioned vessel that I purchased early last spring from my friends over at Betancourt Manor. I've bought quite a few pieces from their curated collection, and at $28 for this item here, it wasn't too much of a difference in comparison to Howe's, where they charged $30 for this style. I love the look of petrified wood. I actually saw these shallow bowls or trays here in a previous visit and just couldn't justify the price when I knew I could likely source them for cheaper elsewhere, and I was right. I found a seller on Etsy who had a very similar product offering for $20 less, but for the immediate satisfaction of taking it home same day, it was a fair price. They had quite a large selection of wooden dough bowls and votive candle holders in various finishes and sizes. These are likely made to appear aged and give that rustic flair, though I can assure you they aren't an actual antique. Still a very primitive style decor item, and the price too wasn't steep as retailers like Wayfair sell theirs for comparable price points. I thought this piece of vintage ornamental plaster molding was quite cool, and at $69 it wasn't exactly breaking the bank. To say this was a true antique, I can't be certain, but I did manage to find a similarly styled piece on Cherish selling for $625. I imagine a piece like this sitting atop a large-scale console as it's so architectural and visually stimulating. They had quite a few of these vintage ceramic-styled cornucopias, a very cool piece to source if you decorate in a postmodern, minimalistic decor aesthetic. Depending on the age and brand of these planters or vases, you can expect to pay upwards of $40 on Etsy. Here, this mid-century McCoy piece from the 1950s was actually going for less than half that at $16. Now I have a pair of these vintage Ellie glass horse bookends in clear glass. This emerald version was definitely new to me though, and they only had one, not the complete set. This is understandable though, as they date back to the 1940s, and a quick search through eBay showed me that a single piece can fetch upwards of $40, so just a tad bit more than they were asking for here. Now there was a time I was obsessed with collecting clear glass crystal obelisks. I still have them all and I use them frequently in my displays, and I'll be honest, had I not had so many in my arsenal of home goods, I would have definitely splurged on this pair. They were only $50 each, which is comparable to what I paid, but these are much taller. They were 22 inches in height and sell for $235 on One Kings Lane. These vintage grape clusters were pretty cute. Not as heavily sought after in my book as the large alabaster variation, but still lend a similar appeal. At $49, they weren't ridiculously expensive, but I saw the same set in jade for only $15 in a posting from a local seller on Facebook Marketplace a few months back. If you followed me for some time, you'll know my personal design aesthetic blends traditional, art deco, postmodern, and Hollywood Regency styled elements. I thought these sconces were stunning, but to make it into my home they would need a matte black finish. The pair was only $45, and believe me, I contemplated the set. I just feel it's a unique element that most aren't incorporating into their displays lately. Large-scale cutting boards and charcuterie boards of this size can sell for well over $140 on websites like Etsy. These were very artisanal in appearance, could be used for their intended function or even as decor, and at only $39 would definitely not break the bank. I like that they had options too. If you had a large enough counter space and backsplash, you could stagger the two as part of a vignette. I love ornate mirrors. It actually took me a few months to find the few that I have in my home, and I was able to source not one, but 3 that were much more substantial than the 2 here. And I only paid $125. Now both the mirrors here at this antique store had sold, but from the price points that others inside were selling, I know each was well over $150. And similar styles on Wayfair will set you back $430. Here was another Lone Ranger, a beautiful federal glass art deco styled horse bookend. Some of these sets date back to the 1930s and can sell for as much as $75 or more online, though it's safe to say most can be sourced much more affordably like this piece at $10 to $15 each, so around $30 for the pair. Each time I've had the opportunity to visit this store, this particular room is always being revamped, so I never get to step foot inside. I saw this hand-blown glass handkerchief vase out of the corner of my eye. It's by the brand Murla and was made in Finland back in 1960, but still such a stunner with its undulating curvature today. You can find very similar minimalistic styled wall art pieces on Society 6. This version was less than half the price they charge and had quite a bit more character being painted on an old repurposed window. The painting itself veers Scandinavian in design and gave this salvage window pane a whole new lease on life. If you followed me on these thrift and antique outings, you know my weakness is candlestick holders. I don't know what it is about them, but I have the hardest time convincing myself I don't need another pair. These are the Flower Song Crystal Candlestick Holders by Mikasa. They only date back to the 90s, but they do have a very Art Deco inspired feel, and at $22 they were comparable to other sets I found online. I said it earlier in the video, but I'm always searching for marble and natural stone accents, particularly the green, black, and white variations. I'm not sure what the purpose of this cylindrical box was, to be honest. It might have been just a storage container of some type, though I did happen to find one on Etsy, and it's said to date back to the 1980s. I searched for quite some time to find the maker of this blown glass bud vase, to no avail. It was super cool, very reminiscent of the Art Deco modernist styled bud vase from Wilhelm Wagenfeld. The piece would definitely serve as a focal point on a tabletop, very unique and unlike anything I've seen in big box stores I frequent. The last item I saw was a textured Royal Hager statue from the 1980s. It was $70 here, though I see the same piece circulate frequently on Facebook Marketplace for comparable price points. Alright you guys, so I do want to remind you that this was more of an antique store, so it's definitely more curated than the thrift stores and the Goodwill locations that I typically go to. So keep in mind that the price point is just a little bit higher, and that's why this haul is not going to be as extensive as it would normally be, but I still picked up a bunch of really cool finds, and I think you guys will be so excited to see them. The first item being this really beautiful handkerchief vase. Now, this is by Merla, and it was actually made in Finland. It's a mid-century find, and I do believe that it dates back to around the 1960s. Look at how beautiful the undulating curvature is throughout. I mean, it's an absolutely stunning piece, and though it is clear glass, the glass itself has some texture and rippling to it. I like to incorporate clear glass into the many displays that I have throughout my home. This is a little bit outside of my comfort zone in terms of what I would naturally gravitate towards when I go to these stores, but I definitely thought it was so artistic. It was very artisanal in appearance, very organic. It had a lot of movement, and I thought something like this would look so beautiful placed on a stack of books or displayed in some sort of vignette on a console table. I probably won't use this to display flowers, but again, if that's your prerogative, I say do it. It was funny how it came about. I actually just caught it out of the corner of my eye inside of this room within this store. The dealer is always there working to refresh and revamp her space, and I never actually had the opportunity to look inside. This was the first in the few times that I visited this store, and I was super excited to just be able to peruse around on my own and score this beautiful find. Now this next piece, I actually just bought 2 of these in last weekend's video, so if you haven't seen that yet, I'll be sure to link it above for you in the cards. But it's this beautiful bread or fruit basket, very mid-century in style and appearance. The 2 that I already purchased, one was more rectangular and the other one was more of an oval. This one is a bit different because it does have the scalloped edge. Now this is a true mid-century find. I believe it was made by the brand Godinger in 1960. In the 1960s, around there at some point, these were very popular at that time. It was very commonplace to own one from what I understand. I was actually surprised to see one of these here at the antique store. It was being used as a decorative bowl to display some of the other items that they had in store, so I wasn't sure that they were going to sell it to me, but they did, and I was so excited about it. Now it was heavily tarnished, and it did have that patina to it, but I used a product called Tarnex. You can buy it at Walmart. I bought mine at Home Depot for around $5. It's a very user-friendly product. I do want to recommend that you do wear a face mask though when you're using it and work in a well-ventilated area because it does have a heavy smell to it. But aside from that, I think it cleaned up pretty well. And again, I purchased this with resale in mind, you guys, but I happen to get so emotionally attached to the pieces that I source. So I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to give this one up either. I don't know what my problem is, but if I do, I'm going to be posting it over on my Instagram at beautalksnow. So follow me there if you don't already, just to stay in the know of everything that I decide to do. Now, I probably wouldn't use this basket to hold bread. I'd likely use it to hold fruit or vegetables on my kitchen countertop, or even just as a decorative item throughout my space. I happen to think that these are a little bit more retro in appearance. It's not exactly something that you're going to see in everyone's space. A few of you did reach out to me to let me know that you saw these when you were shopping at your local Goodwill locations. So always keep your eyes peeled because you never know what treasure you're going to find. Now, I had absolutely no business buying this next pair of items. And you guys, for those of you who have followed me for some time, you know what my weakness is. I have an absolute affinity for candlestick holders, or candle holders in general. I found these. Now, aren't these super unique, you guys? It's a little bit different than anything that I have. I typically have more of the taper candlestick holders in my collection. These are for like a votive candle, and I have one here so you can actually see what it would look like, but I think they're so stunning. Very Art Deco inspired with this fluted detailing or this rib detailing throughout. Now, I searched high and low, left and right. I went on to Cherish, I went on to Etsy, I searched on Google. I couldn't find these for the life of me, you guys. So if you happen to have these, I believe that one of you out there has to have these in your home. So if you do, please let me know where you got them. They don't have the maker's mark, so I'm not even quite sure if they're an antique. I'm not sure if they're vintage. They might be brand new. I have no clue. Now, will this be my last pair of candlestick holders? Probably not, but I'd like to pretend that it is. So I'm probably gonna hold on to these for my own collection just because I think that they go so well with my decor and my aesthetic overall. Be sure to always keep your eyes peeled and remember that when you're antiquing, the pieces do tend to be a little bit more heavily curated, like I said earlier on in the video, by the shop owner. Curated meaning that they've been assembled into a collection. So it's not like thrifting where it's just a bunch of random odds and ends mixed together and you have to search through all of those for the winning finds. There's a lot more winning finds to be had when you antique, but they are a little bit more expensive. Now, while I'm on the point of antiquing, I've just been having such a fun time showcasing all of these different finds that I see when I'm out. I know you guys are enjoying it too, because it really opens up your eyes and helps to inspire you to see what other items are out there in the market, especially the secondhand market. I love HomeGoods. I go to HomeGoods, I still go to HomeSense, I still make my rounds there, but lately I've just been having so much more fun going to Goodwill, going to local thrift stores in my area, going to these antique malls and shops, and seeing what unique and eclectic pieces I can find to incorporate into my display. Anyway, that is it for this week's video, my friends. Be sure to leave me a comment below and let me know which of the items I picked up this week was your favorite. Hit the thumbs up button to let me know that you liked this video and enjoyed this antique outing. If you haven't yet, subscribe to my channel and accompany me on this weekly home decor journey. Follow me over on Instagram at beautalksnow for more day-to-day posts and inspiration, and be sure to hit the notification bell so that you won't miss an upcoming video. I hope you all have the best day, and until next time, bye!